And becoming the best at it and mastering myself and seeing what I have within me. If you decide to drop your buckets where you are and develop your gifts, I grant you, you'll never ever be without. I grant you that your gifts will take you places that will literally amaze you.
Alright, hey guys, and welcome to Zenfolio Live. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success. Thanks for joining us here on the live stream today, where we're going to be doing a live site review. So this is something you guys have been asking for a while, and we're going to go ahead and kick the end of this year off with a live site review. So we're going to be reviewing Cheryl's senior site, and we're going to be rating this site on visual appearance, so kind of the design and the branding and the consistency. And then we're also going to be checking out the functionality of it, making sure that it's easy to use, checking the navigation, making sure that all the links work. Those are the kind of things that we're going to be looking at as we go through and review this site. And then we'll be talking about the different things that we can do to kind of make some improvements if there's any improvements that we need. Really quick, if you are interested in having your site reviewed, there's actually a link in the description. Now, we don't have a process set up exactly yet for that, but if you're interested in being a part of a site review, there's a link in the description below this video. You can click on that link, send us your email, and we will get in contact with you when we start doing these live site reviews more often. Also, there is a link in the description below on what do you want to see in 2019. There's a survey in the description below. Make sure that you click on that. And then the last thing is if you guys plan on going out to Imaging USA down in Georgia this year, we're going to be down there. And if you want to get free expo passes, make sure to click that link below and check that out. Let me see if I can't make myself a little more less red. There we go. Now I don't look like I'm red. There we go. Okay, so, hey, say hi to us on the chat. Let us know where you're from. If this is your first time watching Zenfolio Live, thank you for joining us. Make sure that you guys click that thumbs up button and the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and jump into talking about this live site review. Okay, so here we are on Seniors by Cheryl. Now, this is Cheryl's site. She was gracious enough to let me take a look at it and kind of go ahead and give it a review. And so we're going to be going through, I'm going to be pointing out some of the stuff that I see. If you guys see anything else, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys are, your opinions are. We're going to be doing a lot of kind of back and forth on this because I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say as well. So here we are on the homepage, and right out the gate, one of the things I see that I would consider changing here is the off balance. I kind of feel like the logo up here is not in line with the portfolio menu, and for those people who are a little OCD about things like that, that might be something that we might want to consider changing right here as far as design goes and visual consistency, making sure that these things kind of line up. And so really that's going to be in your header menu options. You can set those to kind of center and line up with each other. It also depends on what style of header you're using as well as to how these line up. So if you're using a bar header menu that's got the little menu down here below, one of the things you might think about is having this stuff maybe center over the top of each other rather than that being off to the side and up to the left. Now, the other thing I'm noticing here too, guys, that you guys probably can't see is if I drag this window down just a little bit, there is a search button right here. which is really great if you are letting people search through your site. But as far as searching goes, on this side, I'm not sure what we'd be searching for. Let's just see what kind of pops up here. If I type in seniors, let's see what pops up. So no galleries, no collections, no photos here. So that might be something that you want to remove from your site menu up here at the top, is this little search function, unless people are actively searching and you have it set up to be searchable. I think it's going to be one of those things where it kind of catches people's attention and then it doesn't really work. As you can see here, nothing's showing up in the search results. So that might be something that you want to take off on your header up here. And let's just go back to the home page and keep looking here on the home page. Now she's using a full screen image slideshow, which works really, really well, you guys, if you use landscape orientated photos. So not landscape subject matter, but landscape or horizontal orientated photos. It works really good for the full screen slideshow because it brings the images up, matches the width of the screen. But if you have any portrait orientated images, sometimes those can get cropped off. Now, I don't think that Cheryl has any portrait orientated images here. So far, all of these look really nice and they fit on there. As you guys can see, Cheryl's a pretty amazing senior photographer. Her work is just beautiful. One of the things that caught my eye a second ago, though, when I was kind of looking at this, is let me go back to this one particular image here. Not sure where it's coming from, and it's really just odd that it caught me, but right over here on the left-hand side, I don't know if you guys can see that. This little blue bar right here. I'm not sure where that was coming from, so that might be something where we need to crop this image in a little bit and re-upload it, but I'm not sure where that blue bar is coming from. It is actually on the image here. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. Other than that, though, I think this looks really, really nice so far. Let's keep going. Now, one of the things is that I think the images are shown in a random order. And that works really nice if you're having people come back. It's nice for them to see these images in kind of a random order, you know. But one of the things I do notice is that there's only one image of a male senior on here. I don't even know if we've seen it yet or not. And so what you guys want to think about on your images on your homepage is, you know, if these are the only images that people see, does this really express your work really well? And so far, I'm kind of having problems finding the photo of the guy right here. Here we go. So here is the image of the only image that's on the homepage of a guy's senior shoot. So I think Cheryl primarily does focus on photographing women, girls, young women. Maybe that's the right word, young women. And which is fine. If you do a mix of both, you want to make sure that it's not hard for us to find those other images in here. And the other thing that you might think about doing as well is, rather than showing your image slideshow in a random order, maybe structuring those photos in your homepage gallery so that it has a really nice path of progression where people can see all of those different elements of your work without kind of having to scroll back and forth really quickly, and especially if it's showing a random order, that kind of makes it hard to identify. All right, hey, let me say hi to some of you guys in chat really quick because I kind of just jumped into this. Home Phone says aloha. Hey, Home Phone, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Roxanne, hey, we'll be watching but baking in the kitchen at the same time. That's awesome. Hey, Sharks 408 says howdy from the northern part of Cali. Hey, Sharks, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Been a while since I've seen you, man. Good to have you back. I'm going to pronounce this name wrong, probably. Swazar from Finland. Hey, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. All right, let's see. I have to say hi to everybody. And Howard says hi. Hey, Howard, thanks for joining us. Make sure you guys are putting comments in the chat if you guys see some things that I missed, or if you have some ideas, throw them in the chat. Or if you have questions about Zenfolio at all, make sure that you throw those in the chat so I can get those answered live for you guys today. Lynn Long says it's rainy in Charlotte. Absolutely, it's rainy here all over the state, I think, today. And then Peter from Miami. Hey, Peter, thanks for coming and hanging out with us from Florida. Nice to have you here. Okay, let's keep going on with this site review. So we've talked about the header up here and kind of the off balance of the logo and the menu right here. One of the other things that I noticed, and you guys might not be able to see it, let me get myself out of the way, is that the branding is really consistent up here. It's nice, it's wide, it's clean. But if you scroll down to the bottom, it's got this gray setting with this kind of pink element off to the side, which I mean, for me, I don't think it's necessarily a big deal, but it just kind of struck me as odd. So it's something I thought I would mention. It's just making sure that you're consistent with those colors and those fonts that you are using, because you really want to present a whole branded experience. And if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, I don't necessarily want it to feel like maybe I'm looking at another page or another website or something like that. One thing that I noticed though was really awesome was that your contact information is at the bottom, and there's an email link at the bottom, which is really nice to have that there as well, in addition to the contact button up here. But so far that's all I have for the homepage. Let's go ahead and try out some of these links and take a look and see how they function, see where they're going, and kind of go over some of that stuff. So we're going to click on Portfolio first, and we're just going to take a look here at the portfolio, and just scrolling down, looking at some of the images really quick. Some of these images are the same photos that we were seeing on the homepage. What do you guys think about that? I was sitting here thinking about trying to come up with some good feedback on that, and I'm kind of on the fence. Like, do you guys think it's okay to have the same images in your portfolio as you're showing on the homepage? Should they be different? What do you guys think? Let us know in the chat. One of the things that I do notice though is hovering over the photos, that has the social media links right here where you can share them out to Pinterest or Facebook, which is really nice that it's on the individual photos, because then if I'm a prospective client and I come in here, or maybe I have a friend and I want to share this certain image, I can post this to my Facebook page. And what it actually does is it actually posts the link back to the gallery. It doesn't post that image out. So I think it's really nice that it's on the photos here, because that lets you share with that specific photo on your Facebook and social media pages. The one thing that I'm a little on the wall with, or on the fence with, is the really starkness of this black overlay right here. Maybe soften that color up just a little bit, make it a little bit more transparent. That way it's not so stark and kind of punchy when you hover over the image like this. But I definitely like the social media links here. Going back up to the top, one of the things that I noticed here is that there's not a gallery caption. So this is a gallery. It's your portfolio gallery. Definitely a great place to take advantage of the ability to add captions, because you know, captions are, one, they're really good for your SEO. You can talk about your photography. You can talk about locations that you like to shoot at. You can have links. You can also put some of your own personal stuff in there to kind of let people have an idea of your personality. So gallery captions, guys, are really, really useful. I would definitely recommend having one up here in your portfolio. And then also making sure that in that gallery caption, you're tying in kind of a call to action language in there, where, you know, if you like what you see, hey, let's discuss this, or click here to contact me. And even though you have a contact link up here on the right, putting a contact link in that gallery caption as they're reading along, and if they kind of get the urge to go ahead and reach out to you, having that link right there in the gallery caption will be nice as well. The select photos button, I'm not sure up on this one. So if I'm a potential client, you know, and I see the select photos button, I'm kind of left wondering why I'm going to select the photos. This is for the favorites function, I think's what it is right here. But again, as a potential client coming to the portfolio to maybe just check it out, I'm probably going to be a little confused as to why that select photos button is there, or the add to favorites. Now, as somebody who might know a little bit about it, they might come in here and be like, okay, well, I like this location. Let's add it to a favorite set and let me send it off to Cheryl. So if you're giving potential clients instructions on maybe your location sharing, you're saying, hey, here are some photos of all the different locations that I frequently do shoots at. go ahead and save some favorites in this, and we'll talk about those locations and what we need to do to get those set up. If you're being really intentional with your clients, definitely using the favorites for something like that, I think is perfectly fine. But as a blank portfolio page, I am almost on the side of this might add a little bit more confusion than benefit. Another thing that you might consider putting up here, though, in place of that is the share button up here. So letting a button be up here where they can click share, they can just share this gallery out on their social media. So that's something that you could definitely add up there. And we'll kind of go back through. I'll open up my Zenfolio Live site and we'll go back through and kind of talk about some of these options and maybe show how some of these can be turned on and changed. And remember, guys, this is for the portfolio, and we definitely don't want to make the changes and save them as default. You're definitely probably going to want your portfolio gallery to have its own set of options that are not going to be carried over to your client gallery options, where they're going to be taking actions like buying photos, adding favorites, and doing different things like that. All right, so let's go ahead and click on a photo here and see what happens. And one of the things is this is going to a photo page. Some of you guys might remember the photo pages, but this is a photo page. And basically, this is where your images are going to go if you don't have a price list applied to it. Not necessarily a bad thing. It really just depends on what kind of experience you're wanting to provide your clients. But on this photo page, there are lots of options that if you use this, you want to make sure that you pay attention to. So just hovering over the image right here, there's a menu over the image. And again, thinking about this being a potential client who's just viewing your portfolio, do we want them seeing this information and kind of getting sidetracked of, oh, I wonder what this does or what happens when I do that? Like for me, I don't want that kind of experience on my portfolio. So there's some things that you guys want to think about when you're setting this up. So you can definitely turn the menu off. Now, the other thing is the info button right here. And if I hover over that, it tells me the image dimensions, the file size, the file type, the color space, and the date that this image was modified. And so right now I can tell that this photo was taken and uploaded in 2015, which is almost 3 years ago. So this is probably information that you don't want potential clients seeing. So again, you can hide this information right here. The info tab, the menu over the image, all of this can be hidden. And also the favorites feature. Again, I'm a little on the fence about having the favorites feature appear on portfolio galleries. For me, that's more of a client proofing thing. But what do you guys think about favorites feature being in portfolio galleries? Is it something that should be there? Do you guys have a use that you use it for? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. All right, moving over here to the right-hand side, we've got the thumbnails window, which is kind of necessary. But again, there's this info panel right here where I can see the photo information. And the biggest thing is that date here. So this is a beautiful photo, but 3 years old. Sometimes people are going to see that and be like, okay, well, they haven't done anything for 3 years or what. So I'm always trying to hide that information to make my site at least keep up the appearance of being current and relevant. So date's definitely something that I would consider hiding. And then let's go ahead and just go back to the photo page. Well, let me scroll down really quick at the bottom. Down here at the bottom, there is the tweet, the Google Plus, the pin it button, and the Facebook like button. You guys, these are awesome to have because it lets that social media interactivity go on. One of the things that I would suggest, though, is that if you're going to show these, and especially if you're just getting started, you don't have a lot of traffic to your website yet, call in a favor with your photographer friends, call in a favor with your family, have them go and like this on your page so that when clients come and they see this, they don't see like and 0. We want this to be a number and not 0, especially for an image that we know is from 2015 here. So like I said, if you're just getting started, or, if you just haven't had a lot of traffic come to this part of your site, you might think about hiding it or calling in some favors from your colleagues, your family, your friends, having them come in there and hit those like buttons like this. And I'll just go ahead and do that really quick so I start it. That way, when clients or potential clients go here, they see that being relevant and liked. Okay, let's see. Another thing here as well, down here is the image title, and this looks like it's the file name. And guys, having the file name as your image title for your photos for client galleries is really helpful. Like, I cannot express enough how helpful it is when you're talking to a client on the phone, they're looking at their gallery and they can just tell you the file name of the image that they might be talking to you about. For your portfolio, you want to think about the titles in a different way. One of the things you want to think about is that title can help your SEO. It can also tell a potential client about the photo, you know, the location that this was taken. So information in there is like going to benefit your SEO, as Lynn's saying right now in the chat. Information in that title is going to benefit your SEO. It's also can help provide more information to the client or the potential client, but when they kind of see your file name, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to them at that time. All right, so another thing to think about there. Now let's just go back to the thumbnails page really quick for a second, because one of the things that I want to talk about is what happens when you click on a photo in the portfolio view. You guys, do you like it going to the photo page? Personally, for me, I kind of like it going dim the lights, so that they're staying on that thumbnail. They're actually getting a larger view of the image, and then they can scroll through without actually leaving that. Because now, you know, if I was somebody who was not super tech savvy and didn't know where the back button was on my browser, I'm kind of left like, okay, do I have to go back? Where do I go to get back to that thumbnail page? So, you know, thinking about what happens to your photos on your portfolio page when you click on them. Does it open up to the thumbnails, or to that photo page where there's the thumbnails on the other side, all of that extra information? Or does it need to be a really nice, clean experience where it just does that dim the lights mode and it never really leaves the thumbnails page? So just something to think about there. All right, and again, down at the bottom is the gray footer down here. So just something else that I would kind of think about, making sure that whole coloring, the branding is consistent, the colors stay consistent, the fonts stay consistent, all of that down at the bottom. All right, so let's jump back up to the top really quick, and we're just going to keep moving on. Now, client galleries, you guys, this is something that a lot of people use. I don't personally put my client galleries up there because I like to use the email feature, but it's really beneficial and it's really nice for potential clients to actually come to your site and be able to see your client galleries. Here is my my question or my food for thought on this. Do we want this to say client galleries? Do we want it to say recent clients? And the reason I pose that question is because if we get here and we click on client galleries, are we left wondering, is this all the clients that she's had? Because I know Cheryl's had tons more clients than this. So I'm kind of left wondering, like, is this just her recent clients? Are these all of her clients? If I'm a client, is my photo going to show up here? Those are some questions that I kind of find myself left wondering, and some things I think you guys should think about on this. So menu title for client galleries. I might consider changing it to say recent clients, just so that when people get here, they understand this is not your entire client list. This is, even if it's not the recent clients, it still comes across that way. Okay, so next let's take a look at the photos here. So we'll be clicking on a client gallery, and it's going to password protected. So I can't enter these galleries without the password, which is not a big deal for me. One of the things though, guys, I feel like as photographers, we automatically assume that all of our clients want password protected galleries. That's not a bad thing, because we're thinking about our clients' privacy and their security first. But a better habit to get into is asking your clients if they want those galleries to be password protected. You guys have probably heard me talk about this before quite a bit. And the reason I say try to get into the habit of asking your clients before you just assume is because if these galleries were open and they were public, this is more of your work that I, as a potential client, could go see. It's also more information that search engines have to index your site and to rank you and give you better discoverability. So something to think about there. All right, let me go back to the client galleries here. And the other thing too is, for this right here, the Ryan gallery with the stars popping up, like, do we really need this stuff showing? Is this really something that we want visitors accessing, looking at, trying to figure out what it is, maybe even trying to get into one of these galleries by entering a password or something like that? Is this really stuff that we want people seeing? Like, if you want to have a client access or client gallery area where your clients can click on it, find their gallery and go in there, that's perfectly fine. Just think about the way it looks to people who are not your clients as well. And also think about the benefits that it could have depending on how you set it up. Okay, let's keep going on here. Let's go down to the senior session info, and this is a drop down. And so we're going to just click on the first one here, which is a sample shoot. And this is a custom page with a video, so really nice on the custom page and the video. One of the things that I was kind of hoping to see was maybe some behind the scenes stuff of what to expect during a shoot. So when I played this video earlier, let me play it and turn down the volume really quick. I think it's nice that it really shows a lot of photos. It shows a lot of different styles. It kind of shows what to expect out of a senior portrait session. What I was really hoping to find was something that would clue me in on what the experience is like if I were to book a session with you for my daughter or my son. And that's something I would really like to see here. So thinking about that kind of information, thinking about, what all do you want to give potential clients? One of the things that I really look for is what's it going to be like working with this person? Like, I've seen their work, and if I'm still on their site and venturing further, chances are I like what I see so far. Now I want to start learning a little bit more about what you're like as a photographer, what you're like as a person. So those are things to keep in mind. You want to give your potential clients that kind of information, because you can be a really good photographer, but if you are really difficult to work with, I personally don't want to work with you, to be honest. So those are some things to think about. Now, the other thing that I noticed too is that if I click on the link here to go visit this on YouTube, I can see the published date, which is 2014. Not that I necessarily think that's a bad thing, but something to definitely keep in mind is that, people can go to YouTube and they can see those published dates. So keep that in mind for sure. Okay, and that's kind of all the information that's here. So there's a lot more space for information here, you guys. A lot more space for you guys to have information about what the experience is going to be like, what you're like as a photographer. Are you somebody who's going to watch your clock and hurry people along? Are you going to be laid back and relaxed? Is this going to be a fun experience? Is it going to be stressful? Those are the kinds of things that I really want to find after I kind of decide, is this somebody whose work is good? Now, is this somebody that I want to work with? So things to think about. Okay, let's go up here and let's keep going down the menu. So we've got what to wear. This is great because I just wear Zenfolio t-shirts all the time, and so I definitely need some style instruction. And this is really awesome right here. I like that you have these different inspirations of outfits to wear, and you have it for girls and guys, which is great because, to be totally honest, I would be hopelessly lost on this part. But I think this is really great to have. Again, though, there's lots of space here, and on custom pages, guys, you can add so much information about clients, of what they should, what your clients should expect. I just can't stress enough how important I feel that it is for people to know what it's going to be like to work with you. What's your personality? That's what's really, really important, I feel like, after they decide that they like your work. And this is really helpful as well. And so we've got a link on here that says session guide. So let's click on that session guide link. And I think we hit a broke link. So something that you guys want to check for, if you have added links to your website and if you've deleted stuff, I'm saying like once a month, maybe even more often than that, give your website a reality check. Open your website in a browser that you're not logged into your Zenfolio account on. Follow all the links, click on everything, click on all the different links that you have everywhere. Give your site a reality check. Make sure that everything's working, that nothing's broken, that everything's taking you where you want it to take people when they click on those links. So broken links are kind of a pain and a turn off. All right, so let's scroll down here and keep looking. All right, let's go to the next site menu item, which is guide. And here again, guys, we've got another broken link right here. Something else that you want, again, you want to make sure that you're checking that on your site. And, you know, if it's something that you haven't had time to replace, maybe it was a page and you're in the process of trying to fix it or something like that, just go ahead and remove it and then put it back up when you're there, because clicking on those broken links tells clients and potential clients, hey, they're not checking up on this as much. That's something that you definitely want to stay on top of. All right, package, products, and pricing. So let's go down to that one really quick. And this is, again, another custom page, which is really, really nice. It gives a lot of good information here on this page. So just going here, it kind of tells you the pricing of the packages, what is included. So this is starting to give me a little bit of that information that I want to see. I want to see, you know, what am I getting? What are you going to be like? This is starting to give me some of that information. Now, one of the things that I noticed right here is that low resolution digital file for website, Facebook, and MySpace. So I met my wife on MySpace, but I don't know if it's still actually around. So you guys, make sure that you're checking this stuff. If this is something that you wrote up a while back, if the information's still good as far as the pricing and all of that and that what it includes, don't be afraid to copy and paste, but make sure that you're checking it and keeping the content relevant. You might think about changing out MySpace to be Instagram. If you still have an active MySpace and you know who you are, let me know in the chat right now. Just curious to see who still has an active MySpace. All right. Yeah, just as Lynn was saying, definitely change it to Instagram for sure. You want to make sure that this stuff is up to date and staying relevant. What is really nice though is that there's an email link right here. So that's nice that the email link is on the page. So in the moment that I'm looking at this, and if I kind of have that impulse like, hey, I want to reach out to her now, I don't have to go look, does she have a contact page? I can do it right when I want to do it, which I think is really nice. And so just scrolling down here, lots of good information here. A la carte pricing is really nice. Now, the other thing though is there's a lot of space over on the right-hand side over here. Would be really, really nice. Would be really nice to have maybe an image off to the side just to kind of, you know, add some balance to this of, you know, and provide some kind of visual aid over on the right-hand side. Or maybe some client quotes, maybe a client video of a client quoting, talking about the experience that they had with you. There's lots of room here. It'd be really nice to add some of that information over on the right-hand side. And the other thing too, guys, is if you have a page like this, this is the perfect place to link to your pre-order page so that clients can go ahead and prepay for their sessions. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, check out last week's live stream where we talk about using pre-order to let people book sessions. And so this type of page is a really nice spot to go ahead and do that, where people are already thinking about it. Chances are if they've gotten here and they're looking at your package information, your pricing information, there's a good chance that they're really interested in you, and make it really easy for them to go ahead and set up a session with you and get in contact with you. All right, let's see. I think that's all the custom pages. Let's go ahead and hit that about page. And this is the built-in about page, which I think is really, which is fine. It gives a lot of short information, which is nice because I'm not a reader. The one thing I can say, guys, is like this information is really nice to have. I think it's really important to have text information in here because there are people who don't want to watch a video. There are people who, you know, don't like watching videos. Maybe they're somewhere and they can't listen to a video where you talk about yourself. It's nice to have this text information in there for that reason. But also all this location information right here and talking about high school senior portraits, All of that stuff's going to help your SEO. Now, you could have this and a video talking about yourself as well, which is what I would really, really love to see, because I feel like the one thing that I'm really missing over this whole experience on Cheryl's website is really connecting with her and her personality, because I know Cheryl personally and she has such a wonderful personality. She's really fun to work with. You guys know her there in the chat. She's super easy to get along with, and I don't feel like her personality is coming out on this site, and that's one of the things I would really, really like to see, is that personality and that connection coming out. So a video is the perfect way to do that. So you guys should all tell Cheryl she needs to do an about video. All right, let's go to the contact page really quick. Clicking on the contact page, we've got the built-in Zenfolio contact page, which, guys, personally, I like this page because it gives clients two options. If there's one thing that I don't like as an internet user, I don't like being forced into something like, oh, I've got to fill out this form, okay? What I like about Zenfolio's built-in contact page is that it gives you a form option over on the right-hand side. And then over on the left-hand side over here, it also gives me the option to send an email. And I can actually click on the email right here and send an email through my email client that's on my computer rather than the form. So I'm getting both options here, which is what I like about this form. Now, you can build a custom contact page through Zenfolio's custom pages. It's definitely possible. It's something that you can do for sure, but I really like this because it has both options in there. The one thing that's confusing to me, though, is it says website and it says visit website. And so I'm kind of left wondering, like, am I not already on your website? So if I click on that, I've already clicked on this, it actually goes back to the homepage. So that's kind of one of the things that confuse me. The other thing as well is that there are no social media links down here. So there's no social media links. I can't follow you on Facebook or anything like that. And that is really super important for you guys to have on your site. So if you're using the contact page, or if you're not using the built-in contact page, somewhere on your website, make sure that you've got your social, there it is, the got word. Make sure that you have your social media links there, so that people can follow you. They can, see your recent shoots. They can follow you on Facebook, all of that stuff. Make sure you have that information there. And if you're not sure how to get that information there, it's in your account, and I'll show you how to do it in a second. Okay, so let me check on you guys in chat, see if there's anything I need to go back and adjust, or back and address really quick. So let's see. Man, a lot of you guys in here. Forte, hey Forte, thanks for jumping in and hanging out with us. Melissa Cruz says hi. Hey Melissa. Let's see, catching up to you guys. You guys have a lot of great comments in here. Howard says, I agree with you regarding the favorites and information. So definitely, I for portfolio reasons, I kind of find that to be a little bit confusing. Let's see. Lynn's talking about file names, which is absolutely right. File names and captions are so good for your SEO. Schwartz says, regarding the shopping experience, would like to see an easier option to add comment box or custom text on the final shopping screen. Hey, I've got something for you, Schwazer. I know I'm saying it wrong. We'll talk about adding custom messages to your shopping experience here in just a minute, because that's a great question. Forte, so I'm trying to get into the habit of blogging on the site. How can the post be shared to social media? I see that you can like it, but can the viewers share it? I don't know if there's a built-in share button for that, Forte. They can definitely copy the link and share it that way, and you can definitely share it that way as well. I'll take a look at the blog post here in just a second. All right, let's see. Cheryl, that is what I've been doing. Tamara says, I recently took this off client galleries because I felt I had to constantly update to keep current. Absolutely, that's a really good point, Tamara. Keeping that client galleries current is going to be really important, because you don't want people showing up there thinking like, are these the only clients that they have? These are the same clients that when I came and checked out your website a year ago, those were there. So if you're not going to keep it updated, it might be something that you're better off kind of removing from there. Let's see. Let me keep going down here, guys. Another issue that has been brought to my attention is that my client and viewers have to sign in for each folder to view the images more than one time. Is there any way to fix that? I would have to look at your settings, Forte, to see what's going on there, but it sounds like visitor sign-in has been enabled, but separately on each one. That would be what I would look at, and I'll talk about that in a second. Let's see, D. Belco. Hey, if you guys, again, if you want your site to be reviewed, there's a link in the description below. Click on that link and send us your information, and we will reach back out to you about that process. All right, Home Phone says, sorry, I meant to ask this question earlier. What is your recommended of how long I should have my homepage images play for, and how many images? So, I, try to think about how long do I spend looking at photos? How long do I spend on a website? And when I'm on a site like this, looking at somebody's slideshow, you've probably got my attention for about 15 to 20 seconds unless I really see something that I'm interested in. So if it doesn't grab my attention in 15 or 20 seconds, I'm probably gone. So when you're thinking about your images for your homepage slideshow, you want to make sure that you're putting the best of the best up there. If you're looking at two images and you're having a hard time deciding between one or the other, make a decision and put the other one out, or switch it out. Try the other image the following month or the following week. But when it comes to your homepage images on your homepage slideshow, I'm going to say that less is going to be more in this case, because you have people have a very short attention span. You need to grab their attention quickly, and hopefully, and we don't want people staying on the homepage that long. We want that homepage just to grab their attention, pique their interest, so they can look into how are they going to be working with us. All right, let me see. Going down the chat here. Let's see. Only Justin Timberlake has a MySpace. I think MySpace is still around. I have not logged into it in at least 9 years. But yeah. Forte says, when you Google my name, it still pops up, though. That's hilarious. That's really funny. Hey, Gameo Ravels. I think I said your name right. Hey, welcome. Hey, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Let's see. I made a... Oh, let me go back up. I'm missing you guys here. Lots of you guys in chat. I made a mobile studio on wheels. Wow. That's awesome. They're fun. I only use it to advertise my own business. Wow, that's interesting. Really, really cool. All right. This chat is a lot of fun. Thank you for all the info. Yeah, you guys are a lot of fun there in the chat. It's really good to see you guys interacting with each other. Okay. Yeah, if you guys could give the video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. It would help us keep this going. Love you guys interacting there on the chat. Give us a thumbs up. Just trying to catch up to you guys on chat. All right, I think I'm caught up. Let me go into talking about a few things that we were talking about here in chat. So one of the things is talking about how do you get your social media information on your website. Well, that information can be put inside of your account. So if you go into your Zenfolio account, and what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to hover over your name over on the right. Let me get this pulled down so you guys can see it. Hover over your name up here on the right hand side and go to account. And in here, this is where you can add your social media links. So if you go over here to social media and networks, this is where you can go and you can start putting in your social media networks that are going to show up on your website. So put in your Photographer Central if you don't have one. If you don't have a Photographer Central, you should definitely have one. Go check it out. But you want to put in your Facebook. If you use Twitter, put in your Twitter, put in your Google Plus, your Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, all that stuff. Have that stuff in there because that stuff will appear on your contact page. It can also show on your header. It can show on your footer. That information is really, really important to have. Now, I think it was, I'm going to try to say the name again right. Schweizer, maybe that's why I said Schweizer. Asking about custom messages on the final shopping cart screen. Now, there's a way you as the photographer can leave some custom messages on that shopping cart screen. As for your client leaving messages like sending you comments or something like that, There's certain products that do allow it. Digital products allow it, and self-fulfilled products allow it. But if they don't have either one of those in their cart, then what they need to do is they probably just need to send you an email. But you as the photographer can have your own custom messages coming up in that shopping cart experience on the final screens. And the way you do that is, again, get in this account area. So just hover over your name on the top right corner over here, click on account, and then you're going to scroll down to selling. And once you're down here, click on that. And there's actually a little section right here that says shopping cart messages. And there's several different places in here to add these messages. So you click on shopping cart message. One is delayed fulfillment. That's what it's called. This is going to be a message that's displayed to all of your customers during the checkout process. And really what it's for is like right now for the holidays. If I'm not going to be checking in on my account, if I'm going to be out of the country, out of the town for the holidays, I might come in this shopping cart section and put a quick note that says, hey, thank you guys so much for all of your orders. I just wanted to let you know that I will be out of town and off my site for a couple of weeks during the holidays. So for that reason, any order that you place might be delayed in receiving it. I shall return back on blah, blah, blah dates. If you have any questions, blah, 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 blah. So this is a message that you can have. There's also some other sections down here. There's Zenfolio vendor products, which a few weeks ago we talked about how to let your clients know about the shipping deadlines. These are really good places to put that information. And so this message in this box would only appear if your clients are ordering and their products are Zenfolio integrated vendor ordered products. So if an integrated vendor is going to fulfill that order, the message that you put in here would pop up during that checkout process for your clients. There's a pre-sale message right here, and then there's also a post-sale message that will come up after they make the purchase right here. And then if you scroll down, you have the same options for self-fulfilled products as well. So you can have a pre-sale and a post-sale message for self-fulfilled products as well in that shopping experience. Now, again, for your clients leaving a message, if you are offering digital products, they can leave a comment on digital products. And let me show you that really quick. If you go to selling and you go to digital products, and we just go to any one of these digital products, there's actually this little option right here that says allow your customer to leave a note. And in their cart, when they're looking at their cart, there will be a little thing that they can click on and they can leave a comment or a note. Self-fulfilled products are the same way. There's the same type of option. Zenfolio integrated vendor products do not have that option. And so you're going to want to let your clients know, like, hey, if you have any requests, if you have any comments, shoot me an email and have your email in one of those pre-sale or post-sale messages boxes that I was showing you earlier. All right, let me grab a sip of tea really quick, you guys. I did my my warm-ups today, and now my voice is kind of trying to hoarsen up just a little bit. So I got some ginger tea going on right here. Hopefully that will soften it back up a little bit. All right. What's going on down here? Let me check on you guys in chat some more. Let's see. Man, I got a lot of catching up to do here. Oh, everybody's saying thumbs up. 5 out of 5 stars. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Let's see. Hey, Robert, I think you missed a couple of questions. Oh, you answered the one about the comments. I have the old small thumbnails on my site. Is it hard to update them to the newer, more modern looking thumbnails? Yes, it's not hard at all. So no, it's not hard at all. If you have the old thumbnails, I'll show you guys what Sharks is talking about. So if we go to photos and I go to one of my galleries, there are a couple of different thumbnail options that you can use to display your images to your clients. So if I go to the wedding right here and I right click on this preview and open it in a new tab, then we hover over edit, we can go to page, and that's going to let us change the options and the visual appearance of this page. And so what Sharks is talking about is they're talking about, he's talking about the thumbnail images and the way that they display here. So if we go up here to options, we uncheck use default, and we go down to grid options, there are 4 different types of grids that you guys can use on your thumbnails page. And if you're using an older preset, an older layout, maybe you've had your site for a while and haven't done any updating, chances are it might be using one of these 2 grids right here, and they're kind of an older style grid. So just to show you what it looks like really quick, if I hit that and I hit apply, you're going to notice that my thumbnail images change drastically. They're smaller, and occasionally they might have some images around it. It really depends on the theme that you're using and the layout that you're using. So if you want to change that, which I definitely recommend, like grid A or grid B, guys, they're really nice grids. They're dynamic grids. They're kind of that Pinterest-y looking grid, where they are collage style grids. I would definitely recommend changing and swapping over to one of those grids. And so if you want to change it, it's really easy to do. You just go up to options, go to grid options, and use grid A or grid B. Now, grid C is not necessarily a bad grid. It is going to put your images in a uniform size. And so I know that it shows them square here, but you do actually have control of those sizes. So you can actually put in the actual pixel dimensions here and control your image sizes. Now, what I will say about that grid is that if your images are different sizes, different orientations, this is a hard limit and it's going to crop your photos. One thing to keep in mind. That's why I like using grid A or grid B. They're more dynamic. I think they present the photos better. And if you ask which one I prefer over grid A or grid B, I'm going to tell you grid B, because grid B will take your horizontal landscape oriented images and make them as tall as your portrait oriented images, which is really nice, because if you have people in those horizontal oriented images and you're using grid A, it's going to appear smaller and it'll be a little bit harder to identify the people in those photos, in my opinion. So I usually go with grid B. All right, and we'll just go ahead and apply that and get it back to the way it was looking here. All right, and then also, I know we talked about removing some of the information that was showing over the thumbnails in the gallery. So for instance, the portfolio gallery, maybe you don't want the favorites feature being there. If you go to options, go to thumbnails, and then you can go right here to add to favorites, and you can set that to hide, and it will hide that little favorite icon that we keep seeing. Now, the other thing that we talked about when we were looking at Cheryl's site was what does it do to the images when you click on the photo? How does it open it up? Well, she had it opening to a photos page. If you want to change that, you just need to go to the thumbnails page, and then it says when the thumbnails are clicked, do you want it to open to photos page or dim the lights? Now, I want to be very clear that this only applies to galleries that do not have a price list assigned to it. If your gallery has a price list assigned to it, when somebody clicks the photo, it's going to go to the quick shop page and then either visit shop, or people can buy using the side buying panel. But this is where you control that option here. All right, let me go ahead and hit cancel. And guys, we're moving through this pretty pretty quick. Can't believe we've got only like 8 more minutes left. So if you're watching the recorded version of this, we would love to have you come join us on the live stream. I know not everybody can stop what they're doing and join a live stream, which is why I really want to say thank you to those of you guys who stopped and hung out with me today. And those of you guys who do it every week, I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. And I love the community that I'm seeing happen in the chat. It is awesome to see you guys in there talking to each other. It's just great seeing that. But if you're not able to join us live, there's a link in the description below the video that you're watching now that will let you actually submit some questions, and I will answer them the following week. Also, those of you guys who are watching live and the recorded version of this, there is another survey in the description below this video. If you guys can do me one favor, click that survey. It says, what do you want to see in 2019? Click on that survey. Let us know what kinds of things you guys would like to see on our YouTube channel in 2019. We're going to make some decisions off of what you guys put in that survey. So if you don't do anything else, make sure that you please click on that survey and let us know what kind of stuff you'd like to see next year. All right, let me make sure that I am caught up with you guys here in chat. Forte, I think you had a question. Says it's a wedding with multiple photos to break up the getting ready ceremony and so on. Each section asks them to re-sign into their info to view the photos. Okay, so if you've got a wedding and you've got some galleries that are in there to kind of break it up, like you've got a gallery for, you know, pre-ceremony candids, getting ready, the ceremony, formals, reception. It sounds like you've probably got it broken up like that. And so what I'm going to recommend that you do is just, you need to just kind of check in and see how they're set up here. So if you click on weddings, for instance, right here, and you go in here and you go to access, you want to make sure that you do one of the two following things. You either want to make sure that that gallery, and let me just show you again, that gallery right here, Forte, you want to make sure that that is either following the group settings, because if it is, and it's using the visitor sign-in that's applied to the group, they shouldn't have to do the sign-in multiple times. It should be stored in their cookies. Now, that might be one thing that's causing an issue if their cookie settings are weird, or I think in some cases firewalls might mess with it a little bit. That might be asking them to re-sign in for everything. But as long as you have the galleries checked to follow the same as the containing group settings, that visitor sign-in should not require multiple sign-ins after they do it the first time through the group. Now, the other thing is if you continue having issues, or it's not set up that way, and there's a reason why you don't have it passing along the same settings, is go to the galleries that are in here and just turn visitor sign-in off on the galleries. So you can say, okay, let me go down here and we're going to turn that off, and we're going to say no visitor sign-in, so that the only place that anybody hits a visitor sign-in is on that group. Now, I would probably have to individually go ahead and look at your account to really see what's going on, but that is what I would start with. So that's what I would start with, is looking at those settings and seeing how they're set up in there to make sure that that is all flowing together. All right, let's see. Melissa Cruz says, you provide very helpful info. Thank you for doing these videos. Absolutely. You guys, I love doing these videos. You guys make it worth it. I love doing these videos for you guys. I look forward to Thursday, and I know Cheryl does as well every week. So we're always super excited on Zenfolio Live Thursday. Let's see. Lee Booker says, can we have different price lists for different galleries? Absolutely, and I recommend that you at least have different price lists for your different client genres. And so just to show you really quick, in my account, if I go to price list, let me just go up here to selling and price list. You can see right here, I've got a couple of different price lists. Really, these were just testing price lists. But let's say I have a wedding price list, and then I'm not going to add anything to this. I'm just going to say this is my portrait price list, and we'll save this. I'm not going to add anything to it. I'm just going to save it, because if you go back to photos, all right, you can go to this gallery, which is a wedding gallery, and you can go up to price list, and you can say allow ordering from my price list, and you can say wedding price list and hit save. And so now that gallery has the wedding price list on it. And let's just say that this Smith gallery is a portrait gallery. I'm going to click on it, come up here to price list, allow ordering from my price list, and I'll say portrait price list. So now those two galleries have different price lists on them, but you can go even further than that. If I wanted to go into the Fraser wedding price list, and let's say maybe I did some special editing to a couple of the photos. Maybe I have a signature style of editing and I only do it to a few photos, and I want to sell those photos for a little bit more than I sell my other photos for. What you can do is create another price list, and you can actually click on a photo, and you can click on the photo right here. You could say price list, And if you'll notice, it says photo only pricing. And so I can actually apply a different price list to just that specific photo. Another thing that that's good for is if you have photos that are only certain aspect ratios. Maybe you sell different sizes and you want to make sure that this particular photo gets ordered at the correct aspect ratio. You can assign a different price list to that. My recommendation for how to set up your price list is to create client groups. So as you can see, I've got weddings and I've got engagements. And then what I will do is I'll have a primary price list for those client genres, and I'll actually assign them to the group. So if I click on engagements and I go to price list, I say, okay, allow ordering from my price list. And let's just say that the digital download one is my main engagement price list. I've assigned it to that group. And so now any new gallery that I put in that group is going to automatically take on that particular price list. And so that's how I recommend setting it up. And then you can kind of tweak it from there as you need to make changes. Guys, that music means that we are getting really close to running out of time. I'm going to try to sprint through a couple more questions really quick. Let's see. I know somebody asked, is there a way to offer digital downloads for sale? Lee Booker, absolutely. Yes, you can. There are lots of videos on our channel that will walk you through that. Just search for digital downloads on our channel and it will take you through how to offer those digital downloads for sale. Stephanie says, help, when I'm on my mobile device, I can't see the full screen, so I can't make changes to the allowed downloading. For instance, is there a way to see that on mobile devices? If you're trying to customize your website on your mobile phone, I would definitely recommend jumping off your mobile device and going to a computer to do any customizing. The backend's really not supported, but I would have to probably kind of see what you're talking about. So I would recommend, Stephanie, reaching out to our support team down here. If you go down here, you can actually click and reach out to our support team. They are phenomenal, you guys. If you haven't talked to our support team yet, please reach out to them before you get frustrated. They are all photographers as well, and they are more than happy to help you guys. They're a lot of fun to work with. Okay, guys, well, unfortunately, we are out of time. I do want to say thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out, and I hope to see you guys all again soon. Hey, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button. And if you're watching the recorded version of this and you'd like to learn more about Zenfolio, I recommend watching some of the videos that you should see popping up on your screen.